Hey parents, let's talk about sleep. Let's talk about your sleep. Let's talk about your kiddos' sleep. Let's talk about your family's sleep. Or maybe we should talk about your family's lack of sleep. Because what do we know? Sleep is the most essential ingredient to the health of not only your family, but you, your kiddos, everyone. And did you know that 50% of kiddos today are struggling with some form of significant sleep challenge or struggle? That's 1 in 2 kids. 1 out of every 2 kids that you see is having challenges with falling asleep, staying asleep, or both. And not enough people are talking about it. Not enough doctors are talking about it because we're taught that it's normal, it's common. Babies just don't sleep. Toddlers just don't sleep. But when our kids don't sleep, we don't sleep either. And what happens when we don't sleep? We probably get a little grumpy. We might not have energy to go to the gym. We probably have a little less patience with our kiddos. We wouldn't necessarily as adults call them behavioral challenges, but it looks a lot like it does in our kiddos. And it's actually a bigger problem in our kiddos because they have the same issues. When they're not sleeping, they still have gut challenges and immune challenges and emotional and behavioral struggles. But the problem is they're still trying to figure out and deal with those emotions. And so it's even harder for them to develop those higher skills if they're not getting a good night's sleep, because those higher emotional skills and challenges all happen and develop during sleep. So another reason is that kiddos actually are building more neurons, more brain communication networks in a day in their first few years of life than we are in a year as an adult. Because when we sleep, we are cleaning up the stress and the toxins and all of the things that happened during that day. And we're rebuilding and reconnecting and regrowing and developing in order to be prepared for tomorrow. So it is so common for me to hear moms who say, you know what, my new baby just won't sleep for more than 45 minutes, an hour at a time. Or my 2 or 3-year-old is just restless and tosses and turns and wakes up grumpy. Or maybe my school-age kid just isn't able to fall asleep easily, or they're having night terrors or walking or talking in their sleep. Or even that mom of a teenager who comes in and says, they just have a hard time winding down. They can't stay asleep. They're getting anxiety. They are fatigued when they wake up, and just not functioning the way they should because they're not getting that good rest during sleep. Now, this video is gonna go through all of that. We are gonna help you find the root cause of your kiddos' sleep challenges. And this will be applicable to moms of new babies, dads of new babies, and it will also be applicable if you have a toddler or an older kid or maybe a teenager. And also to you, mom and dad. We've got to get the whole family sleeping better in order to have the whole family function better. So if you've tried everything from Melaleuca to diffusers to melatonin and magnesium and blackout curtains, white noise machines, and all of those things, and they still haven't worked, this video is for you, because what we're going to talk about today, neurologically focused pediatric chiropractic care, will be the missing link. And this is how I know. I've been in practice for over 12 years treating kiddos and families with all kinds of issues, even sleep issues. And the one thing I find through the years, whether it is a baby with colic and reflux, or a 2-year-old or 3-year-old with sensory issues or tantrums, or an older school-age kid who's maybe got that autism or ADHD diagnosis, or especially that teenager who has gotten that depression, anxiety diagnosis. And the first thing we've had to target in all of these cases is sleep. And what we do better than any other doc out there, whether it's medical or holistic or natural or even most other chiropractors in our field, is we get down to the root cause of the issue. So buckle up, Buttercup. We're gonna get a little scientific-y, a little nerdy. I promise I'll make it simple though. And we are gonna walk through the root causes, what is actually causing your kiddos' sleep challenges. So here it is. Now, both falling and staying asleep are caused from the same basic underlying problem. It is sympathetic nervous system stuck on. Now, the sympathetic nervous system is absolutely crucial to getting through daily life. We've got to have that fight or flight, go, go, go nervous system triggered when It's daytime when we are at school, when we are at work, when we are playing a sport. And it's absolutely vital for us to have that nervous system kicked on. Now, we call that sympathetic nervous system the gas pedal. So that's how you can think about it. When the sympathetic nervous system is on, your gas pedal is on, you can go to work, go to meetings, go to school, take a test, all of those things that we need to be active for. And then when it starts to become nighttime, our central nervous system senses our circadian rhythm, and it starts to shift that parasympathetic dominance, or it starts to shift our nervous system towards that parasympathetic side. And that parasympathetic side is our rest and digest. And what's key here is that the main nerve that is associated with that parasympathetic nervous system is the vagus nerve, and it starts right up here in the brainstem, has to pass down through this upper cervical spine down into the thorax, and that's where it goes to calm our body down. It helps our body rest and relax and digest. It also has a part that goes to our social and emotional cortexes, and that is what's causing what helps our brain to calm down. So moms, dads, if you have a kiddo that's tossing and turning all night, they might even tell you, I just can't get my brain to be quiet. And that is exactly what we're talking about. That vagus nerve isn't able to come online, that brake pedal isn't able to come online, and so they're just not able to relax and rest and fall asleep. And they're not also able to down-regulate so that they can get into that deep REM sleep cycle. So if your kiddo's not sleeping, it is most likely because they have an overstimulated, overstressed, sympathetic nervous system, stuck on go all the time. And when this happens, or why this happens, is most often because kids have in their early life, usually in infancy, physical stress. Now, the most common thing we see is birth interventions like inductions and C-sections, whether they're scheduled or emergent, things like forceps and vacuum extractions and difficult labors, long labors. Those types of things cause physical stress to the brainstem and the upper cervical spine, and can cause what we call subluxation, where their sympathetic nervous system gets stuck on. Other examples are, accidents or injuries early in life. And then even in today's world, we have to think about what we call tech neck. And that is because when there's so much stress built up in that top part of the neck from kids being on technology, looking down, sitting at a desk all day, looking down at notes. And that puts a significant amount of stress on the brainstem and the upper cervical spine. Now, the other key, like I said, that vagus nerve is right there, right in the brainstem, right in that upper cervical spine. And so if there is tension, stress, subluxation stuck in that area, that brake pedal simply can't come on. And so now when it gets to be nighttime, that baby can't calm down their brain. That kiddo can't get settled and fall to sleep. That teenager can't turn off all that noise in their brain. And they physically, neurologically can't get to sleep. So they're not detoxing from the day, and they're not rebuilding for the next day. So now what happens when we find this? Well, as neurologically based pediatric chiropractors, our first thing is to really dig into the case history and to really find the root cause. So, was your infant a colicky baby? Was your toddler a sensory, hard to calm, hard to put to sleep child? Were they that 2-year-old that had meltdowns and tantrums and never grew out of them? Were they that school-age kiddo who was diagnosed with ADHD and really just couldn't get themselves calm, couldn't control their emotions, couldn't regulate their behaviors? Because here's the thing, the root cause of ADHD and autism and gut challenges and immune challenges and behavior challenges and anxiety and depression, really any kind of those brain-based challenges, is their sympathetic nervous system stuck on. When they get in that fight or flight mode, they are wound up and they just cannot get out of it. They cannot calm down, they cannot rest, they cannot repair and heal, and that is the root cause of all of those challenges. Now, number 2, our second goal is to activate that vagus nerve, that brake pedal, because what we know is that if the sympathetic nervous system is going crazy, the brake pedal is deactivated. And so if we can activate that brake pedal, get things to calm down, then we can get those higher level things like emotions, cognition, behavior to come back online. And that is what our goal is, because if we can get there, we can make all kinds of progress in the future. And the way we get that back online is through our neurotonal adjustments. Now, our technique is different than any other technique. Even other chiropractors, even most other chiropractors, we use a neurotonal approach and a neurotonal technique for the adjusting. And what's great about that is it is light, it is simple. Most people don't even know that it's happening. Babies sleep through the adjustment sometimes. And when that happens, when we get that adjustment and stimulate that vagus nerve, what happens is amazing. And what we actually see in our office and in our other PX offices is that within the first month of care, 65% of parents are already reporting better sleep, better changes, whether it's falling asleep, staying asleep, or waking up feeling more rested. 65% of our patients, that's just in the first month of care. And here's the cool part is when that sleep comes back online, then parents start reporting things like, hey, then they started pooping better. Then they started being easier to soothe and easier to calm. Then their immune system started coming back online. Then their development started coming back online. And especially in older kiddos, once we get that sleep back on track, then we start hearing things like, hey, now their mood is getting better. Now they can focus more. Now their energy is better. And so that's really our goal, because what we know is that underlying foundational sleep, that foundational piece has to be online in order for those higher level processes and functions to come back online. Because here's the great thing, we were designed to heal, and healing happens in the same sequence of which we got sick. So those foundational pieces have to come first. Now, all that is under control of the central nervous system. And so again, if we can get that on track, everything follows. Now, I want you to learn. I want you to ask questions. We've got some really great articles on our website. There's one specifically about sleep challenges and sleep disturbances. And you can even download a playbook or a guidebook basically to help you with some of those natural remedies for sleep, and really get your kid functioning as well as possible. And so I want you to ask those questions, learn more about this, because the more you learn, the more you're going to be able to help your kiddo. Leave me a message here, send me a private message, share this with a mom that needs to see it, because we know that we can make such a big impact. And that is our goal, is to help as many kiddos as possible get the sleep that they need, get their nervous system working as well as they can. That way they can live the life they deserve. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.